Hiya,
Hi,
how's it going?
it's good. I've just clicked through that link that you sent me.
Hey, listen, we're gonna go live now in a second, okay? So
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna cut you off. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Bye.
The Art and Spirituality Show with Dominic Anglim, and my special guest today is award-winning English comedian, actress, rapper, and presenter Gabby Killick. Gabby graduated from the Birmingham Conservatory and has enjoyed sellout shows at Edinburgh Fringe 2 years in a row. Gabby has a one-woman sketch show called Girlfriend from Hell, and The Bee is Back. Gabby will be joining me via phone today, talking all about how she survived the first lockdown, entertaining her neighbours with some live shows. This is the Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. Let's talk.
Online, on the iOS and Android, on your mobile phones. Great speakers conversation around the globe. This is Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
Relax Radio. The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Gabby Killick. Gabby, you're on air with us.
Hello, Dom. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks a million for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. More than happy to.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I was just, as I was saying in the interview there, in the introduction, I should say, yeah, you had two years in a row of sellout shows at Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe the Fringe hasn't been on this year. I've really missed it. It's really come home for the month of August every year, but this year there's been a big gap in my heart, I think.
Yeah, it must have been so yeah, it must have been so different to not do it because I know that you started off doing the Fringe as early as 2014, isn't that right?
Yeah, I did. So I did a week of shows up there in 2014, just to sort of like dipping my toe in, finding out what it was all about. And that show was called May I Take Your Order? And then I had a little bit of a break, worked on my craft a little bit more, and then came back for the big comeback in 2018. And yeah, the show went really well. I was touring my sketch show called Girlfriend from Hell, and then a year later I went back with the spin-off show Girlfriend from Hell. The beep is back. You see what I did there with the beep?
I love what you did there with the beep. Myself and I was talking to Gavin the other day. We were saying, and we're like, well, it's a daytime show, so we can't have any swearing, and we can't make any references to other things. But we said, Gabby said, there'll be no problem. We'll be able to beep it out anyway. So
that's fine. I've been practicing with phone calls to my grandma, so it's fine.
Fantastic. No, we were just saying the other day there how we met. We met at a comedy audition. I think it was, would have been maybe February of this year, something like that.
I know. Yeah, it would have been about February time. It was obviously definitely before lockdown. It must have been earlier in the year. And there was a few of us there, wasn't there, from the circuit? We all just sort of like rocked up for this audition. that was a little bit all over the place, wasn't it? It wasn't the most organised audition that we've ever been on. But, you know, what audition is normal, you know?
What audition is. But I think when you're a comedian, and certainly when you're an entertainer, such as yourself and myself included, you know, you have to go out there and you have to keep on doing these different auditions, because you just really don't know what you're gonna get, and what's gonna lead to the next opportunity, right?
Oh my gosh, of course. You have to take every opportunity as a performer, whether it be doing a podcast or an audition or a play or a musical. I mean, it really depends like what your act is and what your talent is. Like for me, I like to do a lot of different things, like the dancing, the acting, comedy,
Yeah.
presenting. So I always like cast my net pretty wide. So I find myself doing all sorts of crazy, weird things, all in the name of like performing, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was reading there that you were originally doing theater. You graduated from theater at a Birmingham Conservatory, and I'm curious,
Hmm.
was it a natural progression then from doing kind of a theater based projects into doing stand up? Was it a natural progression?
Well, it all happened a little bit out of not getting an agent out of drama school, because
Right.
I've always been in like plays ever since I can remember. I've always been in love with the theatre and being an actress.
Yeah.
And then when I was accepted into drama school at 18, at the end of your 3 years of training, you do a thing called a showcase, which is, for people who don't know, where industry professionals and agents come and watch you and your year group perform for maybe 1 to 2 minutes. And there's so much pressure on this one particular day that, you know, and if you don't get signed on that day, you're not going to be a big Hollywood movie star or an Oscar-winning actress or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then, yeah, there's so much pressure on these poor students. Like I went through it, my whole year group did. And then I wasn't signed from that performance. And I just thought, well, you know, the journey doesn't stop here for me. It's not like I'm just not going to carry on performing or, you know, try and make this into a career. So from that not getting an agent, it really just gave me some motivation and fire in my belly to think, right, well, how do I take this into my own hands?
Yeah.
And I've always loved the comedy roles. I love making myself look silly and putting on voices and telling stories and doing different characters. I think there's something really powerful in not taking yourself too seriously. So I
Definitely.
always enjoyed those sort of roles. So I thought, right, I'll start writing my own show. And I knew it was going to be a comedy because, you know, of everything that I've just said.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, where can I go and practice these monologues that I'm writing? Where can I go and, you know, rehearse in front of an audience and get better? And it just happened to be that the only place you could do that was stand-up comedy nights.
Yeah.
So I basically just sort of, you know, went down with my monologues and my character comedy pieces to, you know, all of these open mic areas around the country and just started doing my thing.
Yeah.
And once I got into the zone of it and once I started gaining confidence with it and getting better, you know, loads of doors were opened for me, you know, and it really was just by not getting an agent in drama school. Like, right, well, how can I take things into my own hands and carry on performing? And so in that sense, it was natural because I just sort of followed my instincts. But, you know, it didn't happen like overnight, you know.
Of course, of course. But I know that, I mean, on the comedy scene, that you have been tipped, you know, by a number of magazines, and a lot of people have been talking about you. I think since you had your two sellout runs in 2018 and 2019. But as you say, it's just putting yourself out there and touring and being prepared to share your voice, share your characters on as many stages as you can, and you kind of take your destiny into your own hands then.
Yeah, of course. I think you have to. I think my dad always used to say to me, the harder you work, the luckier you'll get. So I've
Nice.
always taken that in my stride with me. And I've always, like, you know, just pushed myself to go a little bit further and, you know, break that fourth wall and try different jokes and try different characterizations and just see what happens. Because in this industry, like, you just cannot wait for the phone to ring because it's not ringing. The phone is not charged. Like,
Exactly.
you really have to just do it for the passion of loving it and just wanting to perform and express yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree with that more. And express yourself. You have been doing it and doing rather well as well, I might add.
Oh,
For
thank
anyone,
you.
yeah, definitely. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, Gabby has not only been a comedian since the early 2014s, but also is a rapper. You have a song out on Spotify at the moment, and also an
Yeah.
actress as well. You're also starring in a couple of indie films. One of them has won a lot of awards. I know that much, and the other one, I believe, is still in production at the moment. And that's
Yeah.
yeah. Can you talk about that?
Yes, of course. Well, for me, I always just see myself as a sort of like old school showman. Like I like doing like a little bit of everything. You know, for a long time, I wanted to be like a pop star, and then I realized I couldn't sing, and then I wanted to be a dancer, and then I wanted to be an actress, and then I wanted to be a comedian. So and you just basically you build up your skill set in all of these by doing the other one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the skills that I gained being an actress, I definitely use them in my comedy shows. Like my sketches are very theatrical. There's a lot of characters in them.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the films, it was great because, you know, like I said, I started to do comedy so I could carry on performing. And then as so it happened, when I was performing these comedy at these comedy shows, a casting agent and then separately a director of both those independent films were in the audience and they said that they had a part for me in these indie films. So it just proves to you that everything can interlink if you just like keep putting yourself out there. So Down on the Upside is in production at the moment. We had to stop filming a little bit because of lockdown, but we're going to be restarting again in January.
Yeah.
And the director, he was in the audience when I was performing My Girlfriend from Relaks. And then afterwards we got talking and then he offered me the role. And exactly the same scenario happened in No Fruit at the Bottom. And that film's doing very well at the moment. We just won some film festivals in Singapore and Prague, and it's due for cinematic release in January time. So it's all, it is all moving forward, and it just really just proves to you, like, you can't ever expect it to happen, but when it does, it makes sense that it did.
Yeah,
does
absolutely.
That make sense?
Absolutely. And like, I mean, big congratulations on that. You know, I think it is very much to do with your mindset and how you kind of go about, you know, the projects that you do. And as you say, like, you can't expect it, but at the same time, if you put the actions out there, you know, you probably are going to attract the right people.
Yeah, I think so. I think the core of it all, you have to, for me, you have to have so much passion when you're performing. Like, you can't do it for the money, you cannot do it for the fame, because those things aren't coming. If those things happen, that's a plus.
Sure.
Like, you've got to do it because, like, you know, it's in you. It's who you are. Like, you love telling stories. You want to be in front of strangers and exposing yourself and making them laugh, or in front of a camera and speaking words of a character that you've dissected over the last, like, 3 or 4 months. It's just so important that you're doing it for the love of it rather than anything else. And I think as I've got older and I've been doing it, you know, because I've been acting really my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can't remember a time when I wasn't on a stage or in a drama or dance class. Like, I've literally been obsessed with, you know, this industry for a really long time. So you get to a stage where when these opportunities come and they go, you just got to take everything with a pinch of salt, you know, because one day you're doing something like so fun and the other days you haven't got the audition or you didn't get the part or the gig didn't go well. But you just got to love the highs as much as you love the lows.
I like that. Love the highs as much as you love the lows. Folks, we're talking to Gabby Killick here today, a British comedian, award-winning comedian, actress, rapper, and television presenter. And if you'd like to talk to Gabby today about anything that we've been talking about, you can give a text message in or a call in, and the number is 075 2473 473. And you can also send us a message on any of our live streams as well, and we'll be sure to answer you, you know. So yeah, it's great to talk to you today, Gabby. Thanks again for joining us. And I love your attitude, love your mindset on how you're approaching your performing career. and how you're not. I love that you weren't deterred at all when you didn't get your signed with an agency when you
Yeah.
left university, because I think that's the big thing for a lot of people, for a lot of young actors. When we get out of university, the next step is the agent, isn't it? And it's not always
It
possible.
it really is. But not landing an agent is the same sort of devastation when you don't get the part that's yours. Like, you know what I mean? When you're walking into an audition and you desperately want it. And it's just about taking those knockbacks, and if anything, they're making you stronger and a better performer, like toughening you up and toughening, your skin up. Like now, if I don't get a part, of course, maybe there's half an hour of sulking or whatever. Of course there is. And you're allowed to feel a little bit defeated. But if it's going to put you off performing in general, or you feel like it was just like your attitude has become bitter, it's just not the right industry for you, because it's so up and down, and there is like zero consistency.
Exactly.
So you just have but I just love it. Like, you know what I mean? I've always been like it. I don't really think there'll be anything that can put me off, performing and wanting to tell stories.
Brilliant. Love that attitude. Well, listen, we're just going to take a short break here. We'll be right back after this for more art and spirituality, and we'll be talking more with Gabby Killick, British award-winning comedian, actress, rapper, and presenter. We'll be right back after this. Please join us then. Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relaks Radio. The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined today via phone by a very special guest, Gabby Killick. Gabby Killick, you're back on air with us.
Hey,
Thanks for joining us.
you're welcome.
Yeah, so we were just talking a little bit about a little bit before the break there about I think about mindset and what it is to be an entertainer in today's world.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I think your mindset is everything, really, isn't it?
It really is, especially in the time that we're in now with lockdown and things like that. You have to be able to stay as motivated as possible and creative as possible. There's been a huge knockback for the arts at the moment, and there's a lot of performers out there that are feeling a little bit like, well, what do I do? Like, we haven't got that much funding. We haven't been given we haven't been given many grants or anything like that. So I think it's a very difficult time right
Yeah.
now for the
Yeah.
creative industry and the performance industry. So I think if you can just do anything that's remotely creative, you should be proud of yourself, whether that's singing in the shower, skipping in the street, just do anything creative and like feel the reward, you know?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that the first lockdown, I guess you really took a feather out of that hat, and you were actually doing some live shows for your neighbors.
Yeah, well, what happened was is I go on tour. Usually I do a pre-Edinburgh Fringe tour, which starts in like January, February time, and usually lasts around like April. And I hit all the big cities in the UK. And I think
Yeah.
I did 2 shows before we went into lockdown. And I remember the night before I was doing a show actually in one of my favourite places. And I remember thinking, oh God, I can feel this is going to be the last one for a while. Like
Yeah.
I just felt it because I'm used to performing maybe like 4 or 5 times a week. So I felt like, what am I going to do with all this energy, all this creative energy that I've got? And like, how am I going to exercise that?
Yeah.
And then we went into lockdown, and it was at the start, it was very scary, very uncertain time. We didn't know, and we didn't know any information then really.
True.
And I was just thinking what I can do. How can I express? How can I entertain? I really felt there was a moment to be like, I need to do something here because I could hopefully bring smiles to people's faces.
Yeah.
Being a comedian, that's usually the target. So, and I live in a very tall apartment block that's surrounded by flats. It's very much like Sims. Like we can see a lot of like all the little windows turning on in all of the flats around us.
Yeah.
And I just thought, right, well, this is it. This is the next stage. My balcony. It's going to be the closest I can get to performing at the Globe. And, you know, it really was as simple as bringing out my speaker, bringing out my microphone, saying, hey guys, what's up? I'd love to entertain you for 15, 20 minutes and just, you know, take our minds off this lockdown. And what was amazing about my community and where I live, that everyone was so supportive. Like people watched from their balconies, people were, you know, heckling from the other side of the apartment block, which was just
Fantastic.
brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and people were just really getting into it. And I felt so loved I just felt supported. You know, I felt supported that, you know, we are going to, you can carry on performing and we will watch, we will support you. And
Yeah.
my neighbours were brilliant and fantastic. And that gave me some fire in my belly to do it again. And then a couple of weeks later, I did a spoof boiler room show
Yeah.
from my boiler room cupboard. And I teamed up with a party called the Sunday Afters.
Yeah.
And they played some music for me, and we did a whole set about raving and trying to raise awareness to save the rave. And we did a few different things, and it's all been fun. I mean, to be honest, I do the live stream thing so I can carry on exercising my muscles as a performer.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with it, I won't lie.
Sure.
I'm very much an old school theatre comic actress. I like being on stage. I like being in a room with like electricity, and you can feel the atmosphere and that
Definitely.
adrenaline. So obviously when you're performing live to a phone with nobody in front of you, it's like a delayed reaction. You don't know how it's going.
100%.
You know, it's
Yeah.
tough, and it's tough, and it's a totally different way of performing, and it's almost like learning a new craft of how to be funny and exciting in front of a camera, on a phone, in your bedroom, whereas, you know, doing it in front of however many people in a bar or a club or a venue, it's very different and it's very difficult. But, you know, now I've come to terms with the fact that, you know, it might be the new normal for a while.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we have to adapt. I know that a lot of the entertainment world has gone online. You know, it has gone online. I think you've adapted really well. I know, for example, I mean, I saw that balcony show that you did, that first one, and it was very
Yeah.
funny. It was very, very funny, and I think people just really appreciated the fact that you were doing something, you know, and like, you know, there's only so much you can kind of watch, you know,
Yeah.
only so many like films, only so many like TV shows you can kind of watch. You need that different type of entertainment. You need to have that interaction, You know, it's all about interacting with somebody. And I think,
Yeah.
you going on your balcony, you gave people that, you know?
Thank you. I mean, like it was a real moment, like for me, and I think also for the community, just because it was something so different. Like I did it in my dressing gown. Like I wanted to make it like as at home as possible,
Yeah.
and like I said, just being supported by my neighbours and going live, because it is quite a powerful thing. You go live and there's people you can connect with like all over the world who have like seen you, like who are also in lockdown, bored, have watched 100 films and they can't watch any more online content, so they're interested,
Yeah.
interested in what's this English girl's doing on her balcony. But like I said, it's something that I think is becoming more and more popular. I mean, it has been a little bit like Quarantine's Got Talent. I've seen a lot of people going online, starting TikTok, starting Facebook Lives. And,
Yeah.
who am I to judge? Like, of course, anyone can do that. It's a platform.
Sure.
I just need to get my head around it a little bit more because, I will always be in love with live events and the stage. And so you just have to, I think I have to push myself a little bit more to keep going on the live streams. I know I will, but I just had when we were out of lockdown, I had maybe about 2 weeks of live shows.
Yeah.
So I was like so excited. I was running around everywhere, performing as much as I could. I did a couple of shows out of London, and it was great to be back on stage again. Like to feel the audience, to feel that immediate response. For the energy, the nerves you feel before as well. Like I missed it, because you're just like, it had been so long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I felt like audiences have changed. I mean, even in those like 6 or 7 shows that I did, I just felt like people were so much more up for it. People have
Nice.
been, they've been inside. They're now, they get it that they have to support the arts a bit more, and they understand that we're just doing it because we love it. We're not doing it for any other reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, it's quite a blanket statement to put over the audiences are being more generous, but I really do feel that. I feel like audiences, they want to be entertained live, and I think they didn't know that until the option of it not being live and only online was taken away from them.
Yeah. Maybe it made them realize that they were perhaps taking it for granted.
I think so. I think way more people now are up for giving things, going to see comedy, going to see theatre, dance pieces, poets. I think people understand and want the atmosphere. And I think they didn't realise they missed that before lockdown.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the Cultural Recovery Fund, they have been doing a lot to get people back on stage. They have been helping theaters. They have been helping comedy venues. And before we went into the second lockdown, they were giving out a lot of grants and things like that for people who were doing independent projects and stuff like that. So I think the support is out there for the arts now. People are starting to realize eventually that the arts is just a really, really important part of daily life.
Oh my God, of course. It's entertainment in general. Like, entertainment is so important. Like, whether it be going to a dance floor or watching a play or going to see some sports, like anything that comes under the umbrella of performing an event, it's so important because, if we don't have things to watch on telly or to read or to, go and see in the flesh, then it's a bit like, we're just going to be bored and have to talk to each other.
Well, this is it, and nobody wants to do that.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? I just think people need events and they need distraction right now. So we need as much funding, as much public support as we can. So, when we are out of lockdown, people should go and see comedy. They should go to the cinema. They should, obviously be safe, but you know what I mean? Like, people should support this because we have so many wonderful, talented, clever performers, and not just performers, but set designers, stage hands, like everyone who makes a show come together. There's so much talent that is so underrepresented out there that needs to be, just needs to be in light and needs to have its moment. And the only way we can do that independently is if people get their friends, get their household, and go and see something. And I got excited because in that 2-week gap, I felt a shift. I felt the change.
Nice.
And I'm hoping that will carry on, you know, when we're out of this lockdown too.
I think it will. I think it will. I mean, I think you're onto something there. You know, I think people have, you know, it took the first lockdown for people to realize that they need live entertainment. You know, live entertainment is, I think at its very core, it's about interaction. You know, I think it's people want to interact, they want to connect, and that's what you get with live that you don't get when something is pre-recorded.
Of
So,
course.
you know,
I mean, yeah, before we had tellies, we had the theatre. You know, It was
Exactly.
the first form of entertainment. And then everyone has got so addicted to social media, addicted to their phones, addicted to screens.
yeah,
But I think people have forgotten that before any of that was available, it was cavemen putting on performances to each other and people enjoying them. And I think if you strip back absolutely everything and you just have people, amazing things can be accomplished. You know,
I agree.
amazing things. And I think hopefully, because the whole lockdown has been so scary and has been so uneasy on a lot of people, and I get that. And I think now it's all about coming together. I think, how can we turn this into a positive experience? Speaking from my own experience, I'm excited for this shift that is happening. And obviously I can hope that, you know, live art will survive, and not just in comedy and acting, but, you know, in parties, in clubs, you know, hospitality. You know, I hope we can come through the other end and it be, you know, turn into like a positive experience when people want to support local business and want to go to the theatre and they want to go and watch a show, or they want to go around and listen to buskers and street performers and give them their money and things like that. You know, just like, you know, tip them and things like that, because it's important that performers know that we are appreciated. Do you know what I mean? Because
Definitely.
we're going to be entertaining you when you go back into lockdown for free.
Exactly.
We're honest about it. Like,
Exactly. Well, we're going to take another short break and we'll be right back after this. We'll be talking more to Gabby Killick, award-winning British comedian, actress, rapper, and presenter. So I want to talk a little bit more about your rap when we come back after this short break. Please join us then for more art and spirituality. Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio. We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show with my special guest, Gabby Killick. Gabby, you're back on air.
What's up?
What's going on? Yeah, so it's been so interesting talking to you, Gabby. I love your attitude to the arts and to the importance of the arts right now. It's something that I think we all have to be. Yeah, I think it's something that we all have to be taking a lot more serious. But also, yeah, as you say, not taking it too seriously. We want people to go out there and enjoy live events again when this lockdown is over. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable with all the online thing. It's cool for now, it's edgy for now, but we're going back to live, so get ready.
Get ready, we're coming for you.
We're coming back, we're making a big comeback. That's what I'm using this lockdown for, like getting all my material, everything ready, like new raps, new poetry, new sketches, ready for the big comeback in December.
Yeah, I'm curious now, where do you kind of get your main inspiration from when you're writing? Are you writing all the time, or how does that work?
I mean, it really depends, to be honest. I mean, sometimes I write how I feel. So if I'm feeling a certain way, or if I'm obsessed with an emotion at that time, I'll see if it's relatable to the people around me. And if it is, usually I feel like, okay, well, this is a lot of feeling. This is a feeling that a lot of people have experienced. So let's see if we can find the humour in that. So when I was writing Girlfriend from Hell and its sequel, you know, I wrote that at the time because maybe a couple of years prior, you know, this boy had just made me like insanely jealous.
Right.
Like,
okay.
And it actually changed me into like a different person. Like, you know, I couldn't believe how I was feeling this way.
Yeah.
And I hated it. It was driving me mad. And as I spoke about it a little bit more to the people around me, and especially females, it turned out that everyone else had experienced these types of feelings that I'm feeling currently, well, at the time I was writing it.
Yeah.
And I think finding something that a lot of people can relate to, that even can be as obvious as an emotion, if you hone in and find that one little part that can make it hilarious and funny, that's what you should be writing about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I have to say I've watched a good few different clips. I'd love to see the live show, but I've watched a good few different clips, and it is absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's laugh out loud kind of comedy, which is the best kind, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think a lot of people can experience a lot of the themes that I bring up in Girlfriend from Hell. It's a lot about dating, it's a lot about partying, and a lot of people have, you know, done those things.
Of course.
So and sometimes the funniest things are the most obvious. You know, it's not about being too clever. It's just about being as open and as honest as you possibly can. And I think that's when the big laugh out loud moments happen, when it's relatable.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious now, because I know that a rap song that you released, which is now available on Spotify, that was actually born. It was born out of your Girlfriend from Hell show. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. So, can I say the name of the rap? Attitude and...
I think you can say it.
Okay, Attitude and Asses. Yeah.
I hope you can, anyway.
All the complaints come rolling in.
Maybe we'll bleep it out if we have to later, but I think it's okay. It's a song about donkeys, right? Asses, yeah? Donkeys.
Yeah, we can say that.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, no, that rap, was a sketch in my comedy show. And it was all just about being in clubs and, you know, a group of girls being like frosty towards me.
Yeah.
And it turned out that, you know, a ridiculous situation where one guy was playing us both. And that's the reason why we decided that me and this girl would hate each other, which is so ridiculous because why would we hate each other? We should both hate the guy. But it's that classic situation that always happens.
Absolutely.
So I decided to write a poem about it, and I've always loved rhyming words. I've done it for fun for years.
Yeah.
And then one day I was at an after party in Birmingham, and, you know, I think someone put a beat on, and I just, you know, took my moment. You know, sometimes when you just think, right, I'm going to start reciting this poem called Attitude and Asses. And there's maybe like 6-7 of us there, and everyone was just like really encouraging me to go for it. And I was like, and once I got through it once and didn't die of embarrassment, I decided just to put it into my comedy show. And it's fascinating how you can be performing, and then if you drop a beat into a situation, the crowd just go wild.
Wow.
They just love it. Like, I think it's because it's music and it's comedy and it wakes people up and people get really energized and they just find it, you know, exciting and fun. So it's been great. I've really enjoyed writing the music. It's a new thing for me in the last year, maybe.
Yeah, it's a brilliant video, and it's a really funny song as well. And I'm not a girl, but I do know that whole thing. I know that from going to clubs, and you do have that frostiness that some girls get with other girls.
Yeah,
and it's just this weird kind of like strange kind of social thing that happens. It's very odd.
It is very odd, but it's not going away anywhere. Like, I mean, this will carry on being an issue for years and years and years to come. So I just wanted to write a funny anthem about it, you know, which I think is what Attitude Nasties is, all about those frosty girls out there. But,
Definitely.
I'm sure those
Any other raps for the future?
Yeah, well, I did a rap the first lockdown. I can't say the full name. I'll just call it Isolation for now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
That was really exciting because that got picked up by a page called I'm Just Babe, which is this forum. It's got like 4 million subscribers to it, and they reposted it. And you know, it was so funny because without saying the title, I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's a lot about self-loving.
Yes.
And when you're a single woman in lockdown, there's only so much you can do to scratch those itches.
Of course.
So am I doing really well of describing this?
You're doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote this rap, and that was very much from a feeling that was how I was feeling at the time. So goes back to when I was writing Darker from Hell, I was experiencing jealousy. When I was in lockdown, I was experiencing a lot of like loneliness and having to deal with some self-loving.
Yeah.
So I wrote a rap about that, and then it was crazy how much that rap blew up. But the only reason that rap blew up is because other people were feeling it too. So by writing that, you feel less alone. You feel less like, you know, that you're not going crazy by having these feelings.
Sure.
So
less isolated, I guess, as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, you know, you're communicating with people around the world from a poem that I did in the field.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally went on my bike one day, bought my speaker, and just, you know, wrote it. And it was as simple as that. I did it in one afternoon. I put it out. I wasn't even going to put it out. I was just sending it to my sister just as a joke, really.
Yeah.
And then she was like, Gabby, post it. And I was like, no, I'm not posting that. Come on. She's like, no, Gabby, do it. And I did, and it just blew up.
Amazing.
And it was mental because, like, you know, you can choreograph and write a show for a whole year and have, you know, interest, but nothing massive happen.
Yeah.
And then you can write something in a day, put it online, and it just blow up. And it's mental because you have no rhyme or reason why something's going to go, you know, something's going to become massive, and why other things, you know, are just part of your performing career and, you know, are just part of the general script. Do you see what I mean?
I know what you mean. I think it's cool though, you know, you when you get these moments of inspiration and you just go, you know what, I've just had this idea and I'm gonna do something with it, and you put it out there. And equally, you know, you can have 1,000 ideas, and those other 1,000 ideas might not be good or as good as this one. And then you can just have that one, and it just ignites maybe some embers that were brewing out there in the world, and you just throw in that match, and it just goes, as you say, just blows up, you know. So yeah,
exactly, yeah. And you really can't predict it. But that just goes back to the industry in general. Like, you cannot predict what's around the corner, and you know, and it isn't just about business opportunities. It's about, you know, what sketch or what poem or what rap or dance routine will take off. You just can't predict it because you know, there's thousands of ideas and songs and poems that I've written and no one has seen. Like, these are all just like, you know, rehearsal stuff that I'm doing in my own time. So, you know, and it's a real decision for me of what I put out, like to social media, or what I put in my live show. And, you know, and I just feel I'm not going to put everything out, even though sometimes I am advised by people who are, very hot on the social media, because there's like a whole thing about how you should be posting every single day.
Right.
And you should be, constantly putting out new content, which I'm sure is probably exactly what I should be doing. But for me, I just take it a little bit more seriously than that. Like, I only want to be putting out stuff that I'm 100% happy with, that I think is of a standard, that will represent me well online. And if that means having less clips because I am a perfectionist, then that's what it is. But, I'm lucky because I've got people around me that are constantly encouraging me to put things online, and I'm showing them little sketches and they're saying, yeah, it's great, put it out. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. And that's literally just because I think I am always going to be one of these people, like, I'll save it for the live show. I'll save it for the live show. And then, and then now, obviously, there was a moment of, oh, God, our live show's coming back. Obviously, they are, but there's been a bit of a pause.
Yeah.
So in these lockdown moments, there is a pressure for comedians and performers and singers to be putting out content every day. This is my thought of the day. This is what I think's funny. This is a sketch that I've been working on.
Sure.
And for me, I just don't operate like that. Do you know what I mean? I just, there's sketches I can put out and rap songs I can put out, but until they are ready and until I'm happy with it, it's not happening.
Yeah,
but then I say that, and then I did the isolation rap, and that wasn't going to go anywhere. It was only because of so much encouragement from my sister. She was like, you just have to do it. And I just did it. And I was only going to put it up for an hour just to see what the attraction was like.
Yeah.
And then by that time, it had already blown up. I think it's just lessons learned for me to be a little bit more carefree about what I'm putting out.
Yeah.
But also for people who are putting up content all of the time, you're clogging up our news feed. So just check yourself a little bit.
Put a bit of a filter up to what you're putting out, please, world.
Yeah, but freedom of speech. What do you mean? Who am I? If people want to be creative, then that's absolutely fine with me. I think in times like this, sometimes it's all that we have.
Exactly. We're just going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this short break. Please join us again for more art and spirituality. We'll be right back.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com. RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relaks Radio.
We're back, the Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined today via phone by British comedian, Gabby Killick. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, hello.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for joining us today. It's been so nice to talk to you and to find out about all your different projects. And you've been
Yeah.
so busy. You've been so busy, which I really admire. And I'm curious now. You have this. Well, you have this feature film, which is an indie feature, which has been doing really well on the festival scene, and that's coming out in January. That's called No Fruit at the Bottom. And I'm curious now. Can you tell me a little bit about your role in that?
Yeah, of course. So the film is an adaptation of Alfie with Michael Caine. So the lead character is breaking the fourth wall quite a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a serious, very good-looking dreamboat player who meets two half-sisters, I should say.
Yeah.
One of them is my character called Sophie, and my sister's name is Karen. And the main character meets us both. His name is Ashley.
Yeah.
And essentially, he plays the two sisters as a game to see if he can be the puppet master between the two of us, and through him being charming to us both, and him sort of manipulating my character, he makes me do a few things that my sister Karen probably won't be best pleased with. So it's a very exciting storyline, and
Brilliant.
It's great that it's out, and I'm excited for people to see it.
Yeah, where will people be able to watch it when it does get released?
It's available on the Film Preview website. It's going to be having a cinema run from January time. So, but depending on what's going on with the lockdown and things, it's probably going to be available online from filmpreview.com.
Fantastic. We'll be sure to put a link for people to follow that as well. And this other film that you're working on at the moment, which I know that is in a break at the moment because of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Of course. So that's called Down on the Upside, and I am playing a stripper, but not like a dark, sad, scary stripper.
Okay.
I'm talking like a very powerful, funny woman who is stripping to make some money to change her life around. And it's actually a very uplifting story.
Cool.
And that's in production at the moment, and we're going to be continuing that in 2021.
Fantastic. And do you have any other projects coming up that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, of course. So all my efforts at the moment are going into a showcase. It's a night called Lines, and we are going to be showcasing the best underground cabaret talent that London has to offer.
Wow.
We have comedians, singers, burlesque, circus, dancers, and it's going to be on the 16th of December, which is a Wednesday, and it's going to be in Hackney Wick at Studio 1994. And I'm so excited. I'm going to be hosting the event. I'm getting my sketches ready. I'm getting my raps ready. And hopefully it's going to be an amazing evening of celebrating underground, undiscovered talent. And I'm really hoping that people will come and we'll be out of lockdown. We'll be in the Christmas spirit. And tickets are going to be available on Monday, which is the 16th. We've got a month to go.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure people will get out and then go out and support that, and go out and watch some live entertainment when that comes back on in December.
I hope so. I mean, there's so many performers right now who are bringing the stage to their bedrooms.
Yeah.
So, and it's so funny because that's where we all started. We were all big stars in our bedrooms growing up, and we're dancing in front of the mirror, we're telling jokes in the shower.
Yeah.
So now all the performers are back inside. They're working on their sets, they're working on their routines, ready for the big comeback, December the 16th at Lines Variety. No, it's going to be great.
We will definitely put a link to that in the live stream today, for sure.
Thank
And I'm
you.
curious to ask you about your presenting work, because I know that you're going to be hosting this show, and is that something that you've kind of put a lot of energy into in the past, into doing, like, because you've done some television presenting, right?
Yeah, to be honest, with the presenting, I was saying earlier, I just see myself as an old school showman. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And there isn't really one genre that's my favourite now.
Yeah.
I used to like acting was my favourite, or comedy, or rapping. But now I just do a little bit of everything, just to try and exercise my skills in that category.
Yeah.
So presenting, I'm doing, I will be presenting the show, but I'm also going to be throwing out a couple of my new sketches,
Great.
performing some of my new raps. and essentially just introducing the performers and letting them showcase their amazing talent too. But I think the presenting comes into performing in general, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think you have to be an all-rounder, you know? And if, as you say, if you have all these different areas that you love doing things in, you might as well just keep doing a little bit in each area, you know? And that makes you
Of
more,
course.
it makes you more employable.
Well, I think so, yeah. Of course, and I've always loved doing everything, like, you know, from dance classes to rapping, to poetry, just do it all really. And I'm lucky because no day is the same.
Yeah.
Which I love. And that's been my life since, you know, I'm coming out of drama school at 21 and doing different things every day to carry on performing, to stay creative, to make money, to, you know, go viral, to not go viral. It's just a constant roller coaster. It's constantly up and down, but I just wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I should mention as well that Gabby was voted best newcomer at the Birmingham Fringe. So that was a nice title too. You were nominated. You're nominated. It was nice to get that, I'd say.
Well, yeah, when I won Birmingham's Best Newcomer, it was a real big moment, to be honest. I was very excited about it. I was performing in a play, in a comedy, and that was my first professional acting job after leaving drama school. So it really was a big whirlwind. So, and I'll always be in love with being in plays, and I wish I could do more, you know. It's just crazy because you just got to follow what's working for you. So when I started doing comedy shows, that became my main focus for a little while. And you know, and I was able to perform in Austria, in the USA, and Barcelona, and Hamburg, and have travelled all over with my one-woman show.
Yeah.
It's been so fun and exciting. You do miss being on stage with others, you know, and telling a story together and learning a script together, because there is no better place than the rehearsal room, I think, anyway.
Yeah,
maybe
definitely.
A dance floor, but...
Yeah, I'm curious now. What would be what would be one of your? Do you have like a favorite, a top passion, something that you enjoy doing off stage, something that you kind of enjoy doing the most, not necessarily for performing? I mean, for example, I love dancing. Dancing is something that I love doing. Is that something that you're? Is that something that you're passionate about?
Any dance floor, you will find me front left by the DJ, trust me. Any dance floor. Yeah, of course. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just love being with people, being with my friends, being with my family. That's what I'm doing when I'm not performing.
Fantastic. Well, it's been so great talking to you today, Gabby. Thanks a million for joining us via phone. And
oh, you're welcome.
And yeah, we'll be sure to put a link to all your different things that you've been talking about today. GabbyKillick.com, of course, is your website, and we'll be sure to put all those links in there. And yeah, we look forward to seeing your film debut as well in January when it comes out. No Fruit at the Bottom. I'm looking forward to seeing this film.
Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations as well on staying creative and doing a radio show.
Well, thank you. We got to keep spinning those plates, as they say.
Of course. But we wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
Of course not. Listen, we'll talk soon. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll be right back after this short break. Bye, Gabby. Thanks a million. See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Relaks Radio.
That was Gabby Killick there joining us. Gabby Killick there joining us via phone for the Art and Spirituality Hour. And we're going to take a short break now, and we'll be right back after this short break.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট is 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন অন 020-7474-9292 আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from 99 pounds a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours. And let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relaks proudly presents Relaks Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. We're back. And thank you so much to our guest today, who was Gabby Killick, who joined us via phone. So nice to talk to Gabby there. And yeah, thanks for joining us, Gabby. Thanks for joining us. And what an interesting performer, an all-round entertainer. Gabby actually is. She's been performing and doing her comedy. She's also a dancer. She's also a rapper and also a presenter. And yeah, she's been going to Edinburgh Fringe. She first went to Edinburgh Fringe back in 2014. That is quite an achievement. That is quite an achievement, definitely. And I'm just it's so nice to talk to another. It's so nice to talk to another performer. You know, it's nice to talk to somebody else who's in the arts, who's in the entertainment industry, somebody who's out there and they're spinning plates, because that's what you have to do when you're a performer. You have to be prepared to go out there and do different projects. You know, you got to be prepared to go out there and push yourself, even on the days that you don't necessarily want to do something. You still got to do something on those days, and that's exactly what Gabby has done in the last lockdown. She did her balcony shows where she was performing her live comedy to all of her neighbors. All of her neighbors there were able to actually watch her comedy. And I have to say, it was very, very funny. Very, very funny. Check out her website, gabbykillick.com. We'll be sure to put a link in this live stream from today. And yeah, if you want to give a call in today, if you want to give us a message, you can give us a call on our number, which is 078 524 73473. That's 078 524 73473. You can also send us a tweet. I'm at Relaks Radio. And yeah, we would love to hear from you, of course. So today was a comedy show. We were talking to Gabby Killick, who is an award-winning British comedian. And in a nod to that, I want to talk more about comedy. Yeah, comedy. And talk more about some famous comedians. And one famous comedian that actually retired this year was the great, the amazing, the inspirational Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly retired from comedy earlier this year in March. And what a life. What a contribution this guy made to comedy. Now, interestingly, he didn't start off as a comedian. a lot of comedians don't start off as comedians. I find a lot of comedians are doing other things with their lives prior to doing comedy. I'm sure Richard Pryor as well. I'm sure he was also doing things prior to being a comedian. But Billy Connolly, he grew up in Glasgow. He grew up in like what would be described in today's world as probably poverty. His mother left when they were quite young. Himself and his sister Florence. Mother left, and he said he didn't hold anything against her. He didn't hold anything against her because he said at the end of the day he saw it as she was just trying to survive. His father was actually over in Burma. He was fighting over in Burma there. So he ended up with his sister. They ended up going and living with two of their aunts, and they grew up with two of their aunts. Yeah, so he had quite a hard life. He worked as a welder before he was a comedian, and then he started doing music first. He started doing music comedy, and he was doing some songs which had some kind of comedy undertones. He was in a musical group, and it wasn't until um, much later that he started doing comedy himself. Um, and such an interesting life. And interestingly, since he retired, and I think he was doing this as well previously, he also began making art. He also was a painter. Yeah, and his art now. I was watching a video clip today. His art sells for thousands of pounds, and he's a very good artist as well. It's interesting how a lot of comedians also are painters. Yeah, have you ever thought about that? A lot of comedians are also painters. Jim Carrey, for example, the Canadian comedian, also went into art. Kind of left the stand-up comedy behind and went into art. And Bill Bailey, not so much a painter, but certainly a musician and actor. Of course, Billy Connolly is an actor as well. Acted in a lot of different films. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm classing people just as one thing when actually I should just be saying that they're artists. And just saying that when you're an artist, you're doing lots of different things. You're not just one thing. Actually, when I was talking to Mark Salmon a couple of weeks ago, the Welsh poet who was on the show here a couple of weeks ago, he was saying, I was like saying to him, I said, when did you make the crossover from maths, from being a maths teacher into being a poet? And he said, well, I've always been a poet, and there was never any kind of division between the two. It was just a case of like, yeah, I was a maths teacher, but I was also a poet, And it strikes me that Gabby said something similar today. I was asking her, what was the crossover like from theater to comedy, and she was saying, well, she does a little bit of everything. She does her comedy, she does her theater, she's also an actress, and then the rapping comes in as well, and then also the dancing comes in as well. So, yeah, I think artists are artists, and when we start putting them in boxes like I have been doing, it's not, it's not conducive. It's not conducive to describing art. You can't put art into a box. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning in my interviews. I've been interviewing people now since the 5th of October. So for over a month, I've been interviewing people. This is my 6th week interviewing people. And Gabby was my 12th person to interview. And what I've learned over the last 6 weeks is that you cannot put art into a box. It doesn't fit. It does not fit into the box. Art is everything. Art is creation. Art is inspiration. Art is visualization. The coming together of ideas and manifesting them into a physical. The manifestation of ideas into the physical. That is art, I guess. So yeah, I've been looking up some online events that are coming up. Because of course we're in lockdown right now, right? You guys are in lockdown. I'm in lockdown. I am in the studio. I've come to the studio to do my show because hey, this place is fantastic. You can't really tell from where I have the camera at the moment, but let me just change the camera for you. This studio in Relaks Radio is pretty special. I've got everything here. I've got my desk, I've got my computer, I've got my jingles and everything like that. So that's why I've come into the studio to do my show. But yeah, with everyone being on lockdown, I think it's important that we find things to do online so we can respect the lockdown rules and for the time being, hopefully it's only going to be until the beginning of December. Hopefully at that point we'll be safely out of the lockdown and we can start going back to live shows again. And be sure to check out Gabby's website, where I'm sure she'll be putting an update about her next live show, which is on December 16th in Hackney. And this is going to be a cabaret show, a mixture of dancers, burlesque, comedians, poets. There's going to be a lot of different people on there. So be sure to check out her website, gabbykillick.com, for more information on that. Another thing that's coming up online is which is going to be streamed exclusively on the South Bank Centre at the South Bank Centre website. So you can go on that to check that out. We'll put a link of the South Bank website, South Bank Centre's website. We'll put that on the stream. And there's a really cool project which I was reading about, which is called No Direction Home. No Direction Home. Have you guys heard about this? It's really interesting. It's a comedy group which is being mentored by award-winning stand-up comedian Tom Perry. And basically they had sold out shows. They did a summer Zoom gig in the summer, which was basically sell out. And that was in aid of Refugee Week, and so yeah, that show, by the way, has been described as hilarious and uplifting. So two good combinations of things there. Something's hilarious and it's uplifting. You're going to want to check it out, right? So on the back of that, they've got this new show coming up. They've by the way, they've toured this show all around the country, and they've featured headliners of Ramesh Raghunathan, Nish Kumar, Sidhu V, Jewel Domet, and Susie Ruffle. These are some of the headliners that they've had on the show. Rosie Jones has appeared on TV shows such as Live at the Apollo, The Jonathan Ross Show, 8 out of 10 Cats, and Mock of the Week. Jones has had 2 sellout shows at the Edinburgh Fringe, like Gabby. 2 sellout shows at the Edinburgh Fringe as well. And that was with her show 15 Minutes. Okay. And also, she's also worked as a writer. She worked on Netflix's Sex Education, which is very, very popular and total hit show. And she also, as an actress, she's been on a lot of different TV programs, including Silent Witness. So yeah, just check it out. No Direction Home. It's an ongoing project of workshops, mentoring, and performance of new comics. And the next stream that they're going to have is going to be taking place on the 22nd of November at 8 p.m. They do say that it's for 16 years and older. 16 years and older. Okay, so make a note of that. And tickets are just £5. Tickets are only £5. So that's a great price. And it starts at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. on the 22nd. That's No Direction Home. It's an ongoing project of workshops, mentoring, and performance of new comedians. So that's at the South Bank Centre. And yeah, as I say, we'll be sure to put a link for that into today's stream. So it being a comedy show today, we want to talk about all things comedy, everything to do with comedy. We were talking in the first part of the show to Gabby Killick, British award-winning comedian who had two sellout runs of her show, Girlfriend from Hell, and that was in 2018 and 2019. She also came back with a comeback show, The Bee is Back. The Bee is Back. The Female Dog is Back. And I'm doing my best not to curse on air here, not to swear on air, but her shows are very, very funny. You can check out her website, gabbykillick.com. And I challenge you not to laugh out loud at her shows. If you go to her Facebook page, she has some clips on there as well, and very, very funny stuff. Very, very funny stuff. I will say though that her comedy is definitely for at least probably 16 or 17 plus. So it's definitely for it's definitely adult humor. But I congratulate Gabby for coming on the show today and keeping it PG. We kept it PG. We had no swearing, and we made no no references to anything. So that was great. So make sure you check out her website, gabbykillick.com. We'll be right back after this short break.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show with your host, myself, Dominic Anglim. And today my guest was Gabby Killick. She joined us via phone. Thanks for joining us, Gabby. It was a really interesting conversation that we had. Gabby was very inspiring to talk to, I have to say. I think the biggest advantage to having a positive mindset is that you're going to look at every situation in a positive way, and you're not going to take knockbacks too personally. And that was something that Gabby was saying today, which really struck a chord with me. I think it's quite inspiring when you talk to somebody who has very, very, very strong, very positive mindset, and is prepared to go out and fail. Really, just prepared to go out and do things and just put things out there. And Gabby has been doing that. She's been going out there and basically just doing her routines and her stuff and not failing and winning. And she won the best newcomer at the Birmingham Fringe. She's had sold out shows in Edinburgh Fringe 2 years in a row. She's released music on Spotify. with her rap single "Attitude and Donkeys," "Attitude and Asses," and yeah, she's very inspiring entertainer and all round yeah, all round very talented individual. So be sure to check her out, GabbyKillick.com. Someone who's not afraid to go out there and put her material out there and just have it out there for people to enjoy. And I think actually one thing that she said which really stands out to me as well was that she mentioned that the audiences seemed friendlier, and that's an interesting point because yeah, I mean, as a when you're doing comedy and stuff like that, there is always the possibility that you are going to get heckled. You know, there is a possibility that someone is going to heckle you. And I always think heckling is an interesting one because, the heckler doesn't oftentimes the heckler doesn't know that they are a heckler. They just they want to interact with the show, you know. And if a comedian's on stage and they say something out to the audience like, "Oh, have you ever had this thing happen to you where you're doing this thing and da 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 da," and then someone in the audience, that thing will have happened to them, and they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, I've had that thing," and for a comedian on stage, that can be quite distracting when somebody starts talking to you, but I think it all comes down to how you approach it. And it's of course how the person in the audience is actually talking to you and what tone they're talking to you in, of course, if they're friendly like that in my example, then it's fine. But of course, if they're shouting things out at you and things like that, then that's obviously a little bit more distracting. But yeah, it was interesting that she said that she found that audiences were friendlier. I'd love to hear from you. Have you been? Did you go to any comedy shows or any live theater shows when you were out of the first lockdown before you went back into the second lockdown? Do you go out to theater shows in general? I'm curious to know. Are you going out to live events and things like that? I'd love to know. Yeah, just I'd love to know. Have you ever heckled anybody? Have you ever been a heckler? I actually, before I did comedy, I actually did get thrown out of a show for heckling one time, and yeah, and oh, I've just got a text message in here. Just got a text message in here from a listener. Okay, let me just read this out. Um, as Beckett said, fall again. Oh, fail again, fail better. In full, this is the full quote: ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. Thank you so much. That's from Ivor Kelly. Ivor Kelly, who's listening to us in Ireland. Thank you, Ivor. I think that's a great way to look at things. You got to be prepared to go out there and fail, and I think that's what kind of a comedy is. Anyone who does stand up comedy will tell you this. When you go out and you go on stage for the first time, you you don't know what way your comedy is going to be received. You don't know if it's going to necessarily be funny or not funny. And there's always that initial, first time when you do new material, where you're trying it out, and you could fail, and but I think it's not really a fail as such because it's more kind of like, you're testing it out, and even if it doesn't get a laugh, it's not really a fail because you're winning by putting it out there. Anytime you tell a joke, in my opinion, you're winning. So I guess yeah, you can call it a fail insofar as you could say it didn't get the laugh, but in another way, you could call it a win. I'm just going to read that quote out again. It's a Samuel Beckett quote, which was sent in to us by a listener in Ireland, Mr. Ivor Joseph Kelly. And his quote is: in full, ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail better. And yeah, I think that is brilliant. That is brilliant. And I love that attitude of going out there and putting your wares out there. So yeah, so getting back to the heckler, if someone's going to interact with you when you're doing a show, it can go either way. And I think it's all about how you as a performer kind of respond to the heckle. Personally, when I do live comedy shows, I like to interact with the audience, and if someone does shout something out, I actually will have a conversation with them. And I personally don't mind it. I will incorporate whatever they say to me into my show. But for some people, if you have your routine learned off and you have it well practiced, and then somebody says something to you, it can be quite off-putting. But yeah, I liked what Gabby was saying about how she had noticed that the audiences are now friendlier. Are the audiences friendlier? Are you as an audience, are you now friendlier? Do you go out to live shows now and are you thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna be nicer to this person because they are, this is difficult what they're doing. They're putting their art out there. They're sharing their voice with us. They're sharing their time with us. Maybe you have a new appreciation for artists on the back of the first lockdown. Maybe you're now realizing that this is a difficult thing that artists have to do. I want to give another shout out to a friend of mine who's messaging me right now from Madrid. This is my good friend Peter from New York who's messaging me, and he says, yeah, he says, you can never fail. You can never fail too much. So yeah, so thanks for that, Peter. But yeah, I think it's the whole art world right now is in this weird kind of like bubble. We had our first lockdown. Everything was kind of, we didn't know what was happening. We got thrown online, and as an artist, we didn't know how to react. And then we got out of our lockdown, and we were like, okay, we got to get back. We got to get back out there. We got to get our stuff going again. And then suddenly we're back in another lockdown. So it's a real time of uncertainty right now, isn't it? And everyone's hoping, praying that we're going to get out of this lockdown again at the beginning of December. And if we do, fantastic. If we don't, then it's what are we gonna do, right? We're just gonna have to roll with it. There's nothing that we can do about it. We just gotta keep on going. We just gotta keep on moving, right? Moving and shaking. Get up and have a dance. Get up and have a sing. I liked what Gabby was saying about singing. If you're singing in the shower, you're creating art. If you're dancing in your bedroom, you're creating art. Because hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe that dance that you do in your bedroom, maybe that dance is just waiting to be discovered. Maybe you're gonna do that dance one day in the street, and you're gonna be busking, and someone's gonna throw you 5p, and maybe you're going to take that 5p and you're going to put it in a piggy bank, and you're going to save up, and you're going to get yourself a pair of dancing shoes, and then you're going to go to a dance class online probably, and you're going to learn tap dance, and then you're going to be doing tap dance in a show one day, and that original dance that originated from you in your bedroom is now on a Broadway show, right? So you just don't know. You just don't know where these things are going to go. So yeah, so make sure you check out No Direction Home. That's going to be streamed exclusively on the South Bank Centre website. As I say, we'll be sure to put a link of that in there. There's loads of comedy shows coming up, by the way, folks. Lots of different comedy events coming up online. Here's a list of some other ones. By the way, if you check out thelist.co.uk, this is where I got a lot of my information from. Thelist.co.uk. And yeah, let's see here. Oh, we got another question through. A question regarding hecklers. Can hecklers give inspiration stroke material? Can hecklers give inspiration stroke material? That's a good question. Uh, yes, that is a really good question. I think hecklers can give inspiration. For example, if you're doing a show and you are maybe you're doing a bit that you've done, 40 or 50 times, and you wrote it like 5 years ago, and 5 years ago it absolutely killed. Like people loved it. But you've been pushing this joke around the world for 5 years, and it's not that funny anymore. But you still say it in your routine because it got this. You used to get a really big laugh, and maybe at that moment you could get heckled. Now, whatever that heckler says to you in that moment, it could be a timing thing. It could be a timing thing, and that could just snap you out of it. And you could decide in that moment, you know what, I'm not going to do this bit because this person's just spoke to me. So yeah, so sometimes, when a heckler does shout something out, it can just be an opportunity for you to interact with the audience. And if you've started your comedy set and you haven't had much interaction with the audience, like ideally the MC will warm up the audience, right? It's the MC's job to warm up the audience. But sometimes MCs don't do that. If they're an inexperienced MC, they might just go on stage and do their own stand-up routines, which is, not good for the audience, because the big thing about an MC is the MC's job is to talk to the audience and ask the audience questions and wait for the answers and actually have conversations with people so that the audience feel like they're being listened to and so that they have an opportunity to talk. So yeah, so a lot of the times if an audience hasn't been talked to and then you're doing your routine, they might just want to interact with you. And so you might ask an open question to the audience, and someone in the audience might shout something out, probably because they haven't been warmed up sufficiently by the MC. So at that moment, it's an opportunity to talk to the audience, and you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to give this person the limelight for the next 20 seconds. I'm going to let them have their little say, and then I'm going to move on with my bit. So yeah, to answer your question, it can be it can definitely give you an inspiration. Can it give you material? Yeah, I would say it can give you material insofar as maybe you'll revert back to this experience at a different comedy show in the future, and you might reminisce on it in a happy way, or you might use it as a joke setup for something else. Right, folks, we're just going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this for more art and spirituality. Please join us then.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the Relaks Radio app after the show, or maybe you're listening to us live on the internet on relaxradio.net, or maybe you are following us on the Facebook streams or the YouTube streams, wherever you are in the world, I say hello, hello, and welcome to the show. This is the Art and Spirituality Show, and yeah, I mean, for the first hour, we were talking to comedian Gabby Killick. Gabby Killick. We're talking to her via phone, and now we're in the next hour, and we're talking all about comedy. Comedy is the theme of today's show. Absolutely. I was talking a little bit about Billy Connolly, one of my favorite comedians of all time, and I mean, this guy's a legend, isn't he? He was knighted. I mean, he's got to be up there with one of the all-time greats. I think. I would definitely place him in my top five of all time greats. My favorite comedians of all time, probably Richard Pryor, Billy Connolly. Who else would I put in my top five? Jim Carrey. I'm a big Jim Carrey fan as well. Sarah Silverman, big Sarah Silverman fan as well. And but I like to go out and check out new comedians as well. And also was very happy to meet Gabby on this comedy audition that we had earlier this year, and look forward to checking out some of her live shows as well. So be sure to check out her website, gabbykillick.com, and she'll have information on there about her upcoming show, which is going to be on December 16th in Hackney, and she'll be doing some new sketches on that as well, and there'll also be some cabaret, some burlesque, and some different types of performers on that as well. Now, if you're at home and you're on the lockdown trail, maybe you're working from home at the moment. If you want to give a message in, if you want to ask me anything today, you can give us a call in on 078 524 73473. That's 078 524 73473. You can also give us a text message. Like we've just received like 3 text messages in the last half an hour, which was quite exciting, I can tell you. So if you want to give a text message, if you prefer to message rather than actually ringing, I totally understand. I totally understand. Do you remember when you were a kid and somebody would ring a radio station, but they wouldn't turn down the radio, and they'd be like, "Hello," and you'd hear this like echo in the background, "Hello," and then the radio presenter would always have to say to them, "Yeah, can you turn down your radio?" And they'd be like, "What? What?" Like, can you turn down your radio in the background there? There's a bit of an echo. There's a bit of an echo. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to give a text in, you can give a text in, and I will completely understand. Completely understand. There's a lot of online stuff happening as well right now. Uh, there's a lot of online stuff going on right now in the comedy world. You've got by the way, if you want to check out some online stuff, check out Comedy at the COVID Arms. You see what they did there? COVID Arms. They did a play on the words. Comedy at the COVID Arms. This is in aid of the Trussell Trust. Trussell Trust. And that is on Saturday, 21st of November. These are the people that are going to be performing on that. You've got Kiri Pritchard McLean, James Acaster, Sophie Duker, Ivo Graham, and Sherry Martins Allen. Okay, and tickets for this show, by the way, are priced at between £2 up to £50. That's 50, folks. And that starts at 7 p.m. So from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the 21st of November. And that show is at the COVID Arms. It's all online. It's going to be online. If you want to find out exactly, where, we'll be sure to put a link in the video stream as well. But if you go to list.co.uk, you're going to get the information about this show as well. Some more online comedy events that are coming up. You've got Saturday Night Live at the Stand. This is on YouTube. This is free. It's a free event. It's on Saturday the 14th of November, and that's from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So be sure to check that one out as well. Maybe you're interested in a little bit of improv. Maybe you want to watch a little bit of improv theater. Well, if you do want to watch some improv theater, you can check out Impromptu Shakespeare. Impromptu Shakespeare. And this is an improv show, which is it's I call improv shows based on the audience suggestion, and that's on Friday, the 20th of November at 8 p.m. Impromptu Shakespeare is what that's called. And the tickets for that event are £15. That's £15. So, in terms of musical comedians, what about Mr. Tim Minchin? Mr. Tim Minchin. Any Tim Minchin fans out there? What a brilliant comedian. Brilliant comedian. And he's going to be back on November 19th at 7 p.m. He's doing an online event. Tim Minchin. They haven't announced the price of the tickets yet, but I'm sure if you go to his website, there'll be more information about that show that he's doing on there. What else? Yep, just all of these shows, by the way, they're all on list.co.uk, so you can check out some more stuff on there. And what else? We've got out of bonds, out of bounds comedy online, Bonanza. And this is on Zoom, and this was with a comedian called Simon Evans, and this is on November 13th, 7:45 p.m. And tickets for this are between 11 and £22. And I think the way this one works is they're charging your tickets per household. So depending on how many people are going to tune in for the comedy will depend on the price of the tickets, which makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for some family-friendly comedy, comedy for the family, you got Comedy with the Stars. That's on the 27th of November. Tickets for this are ranging from $5.99 to $9.99, and that show is on the 27th of November. That's from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you can check that out. Now, this brings me along to my next comedian that I want to talk about today. Very, very good comedian. Been performing since the early 80s, and that is a comedian by the name of Mr. Bill Bailey. Mr. Bill Bailey. Bill Bailey would definitely be in my top five as well. He's an awesome comedian. And you probably know Bill Bailey from him doing a lot of TV panel comedy shows. Like he's been on Never Mind the Buzzcocks, QI, Have I Got News for You? But he's also a very accomplished actor, and he's acted in a lot of different films and a lot of different very funny comedy TV shows. Like he was Manny. He played the character of Manny in Black Books, which ran from 2000 until 2004. And actually, in 1998, Dylan Moran, the Irish comedian, approached Bill Bailey with the pilot script for Black Books. But it wasn't until 2000 that the series actually got commissioned. Dylan Moran, of course, also nominated for the Perrier Comedy Award at the same time as Bill Bailey was back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, he was nominated for the Perrier Comedy Award. 1996, I believe it was. He had an Edinburgh show and he got nominated. Bill Bailey did. He didn't win it that year, but he did get nominated. But Bill Bailey, he's been going strong since the 80s. He used to be involved in a double act. It was him and another comedian, and he did the double act thing kind of throughout the 80s. But it wasn't until the early 90s that he did. I think it was 1994. He did his show Rock at the Edinburgh Fringe. That was actually with Sean Locke. So that was still with another comedian. But in 1995, he did Cosmic Jam, and that show proved to be very, very popular. He also won the Time Out Award in 1995. He got his own show. Well, he was on a show on Channel 4 called Bill Bailey Live. That was in 97. He won the Best Live British Comedy Awards, Best Live. That was in 99. And in 1998, he got his own show from the BBC. Is It Bill Bailey? Anybody remember that show? We're talking all about comedy today, folks. If you want to give a message in or a call in or a tweet, if you would like to tweet me, you can tweet me at Relaks Radio. And you can give us a text message if you like. It's 078 524 73473. We've had a lot of text messages today. This has probably been the most amount of text messages that we've received in a show. I've just received another text message here. Billy Conley, definitely. And he said, fart jokes. So there we go. There we go. Who doesn't like a fart joke? I've got a friend of mine who's a comedian in Spain. Trisha Odette is her name. I'm going to ask her to be a guest on the show. She's a Canadian comedian. She's very, very funny lady. I'm going to ask her to be a guest on the show in the future. She always tells fart jokes. That's something that pops into my mind right now. She always tells the fart jokes. Who doesn't like a fart joke? It's always going to be funny, isn't it? It's always going to be funny. But Bill Bailey, he was, as I say, he was doing stuff since the 80s. In 1991, he was on like shows like the Comedy Store, performing live. And I think he really honed his live material, and got really established himself as a live performer, throughout the 80s and throughout the 90s. That's like 20 years there. That's 20 years doing stand up just there alone. So we're talking all about Bill Bailey at the moment, everything comedy. And if you've any comedy input, like we've got a lot of text messages today. If you've any comedy input, feel free to text us your comedy references, and we'll be sure to give them a shout out, whatever they are, on today's show. We're just going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this for more art and spirituality. Please join us then.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. And today we were joined in the studio via phone by Gabby Killick, a British award-winning comedian, actress, rapper, presenter. Brilliant to talk to her. Her mindset was so inspiring, I have to say. Her mindset was so inspiring. We received another text message over the break about favorite comedians. And the text message says, Bill Hicks, another legend, died too young. Yeah, I was going to feature Bill Hicks today, actually. He was up there. It was up there for someone that I wanted to feature, because he's definitely, he would definitely be definitely in my top 10 as well, for comedians. Top 5, top 10. Oof. who can call these things? There's so many good comics out there, and so many people who haven't gotten the limelight before. So many people you've never even heard of. I mean, oof, like I've been doing stand-up comedy for 10 years, and you never heard of me before, right? Exactly. Exactly. And I know so many comedians who are very, very funny people who you've never heard of. So that literally is the world of stand-up comedy. And Bill Bailey, there he was. He was doing his stuff for 20 years, doing his stuff for 20 years before he kind of like got on with the TV show. Imagine Dylan Moran approached him in 1998 with the pilot script for Black Books. Of course, he was Bill Bailey. He was on. He did act. He did have a role in Spaced as well. Do you remember Spaced? That was from 1999 to 2001. And he's also acted. He's acted in a bunch of films. Another film which stands out in my memory, of course, is Hot Fuzz. He did that in 2007. Do you remember that film? Oh, brilliant film! Brilliant, brilliant film. I was talking to Harry, our station tech guy, who's just he does all the graphics and all the wonderful links and things that you see throughout the show. Harry does all of those, so shout out to Harry there. And we were talking about like comedy films, like what are the best comedy films out there, and I was saying, oh, there's so many, there's so many. But Harry quickly reminded me about the aeroplane films. Oof! How could I not mention the aeroplane films? Aeroplane, Aeroplane 2. I mean, come on. Who doesn't remember this? Who doesn't remember this? Right? Yeah, that is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. There's and Naked Gun 2. They're definitely up there with some of the best comedy films. What's your favorite comedy film? What's your favorite comedy movie? Another one that stands out for me, I don't know, maybe this isn't as good as I remember, but I remember this being very, very funny, was There's Something About Mary. I remember laughing a lot at that film. Of course, Anchorman is up there as well, another classic, another really classic. I think probably one of my favorite films, one of my favorite comedy films. And again, this is a film I saw when I was very young. So I remember it being very, very funny when I was very young. So it might, I don't know how well it would stand up to time now, but Dumb and Dumber, I found that to be quite hilarious as well. And they actually made a sequel to that, Dumb and Dumber, or Dumb and Dummier or something like that. Can't remember what it was called, but it was also very funny. Didn't have the original actors in it, had two new actors in it, and brilliant film, very good, very, very good sequel. So yeah, check that out as well. I there's a lot of comedy going on right now, so there's a lot of stuff happening, which is good. And I myself am writing a lot right now, and it's a great opportunity to write. I'm in another lockdown. I'm in a house share, and I share a house with like six people, and they don't they don't know about drainage. They don't understand about drainage. Has anyone had this happen to them, where people that just don't know about drainage, when they do the washing up, and they put their dishes in the draining area, and they turn them, they don't turn them upside down. They have them with the water in there. What is that about? How do you miss the memo on drainage? How can you not understand that if when you wash something, in order for the water to drain out of it, you have to turn it upside down? There's no point washing a cup and then leaving the cup with the water in it. That's not washed. That's just a cup of water sitting in the draining area. So anyway, yeah, I am. I attempted, and this is something which is a problem for me. I've had this before, where I've attempted to talk to people in a kind of a in a uh, in a diplomatic way to tell them about something, and I come across as patronizing. They're saying that I'm patronizing them, when I don't think it's patronizing to tell someone to just take food out of a sink. If you wash a bowl, it has food in it, and food ends up in the sink, just clean the sink. Just clean it after you did the washing up. Just clean the sink. That's what it means to clean. After you do the washing up, just clean it. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. And yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. So it's very testing. This is the second lockdown. But we did have a heart to heart last night. They told me I was being patronizing. I told them that we should all clean up after ourselves if we use the kitchen. That was literally the conversation. I took it on board though. I was like, okay, I'm going to take it on board. You're telling me that I'm being patronizing. I will listen to that, and I will not be patronizing anymore. And yeah, so yeah, it's these are testing times, folks. We have to be patient with each other. We have to practice kindness. We have to practice compassion. If that means taking some tuna, which has been in the sink for the whole day, so I can wash my pot of porridge, I'll do it. I'll do it, folks, because, in the interest of keeping peace and harmony in the house, that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to sweep up someone else's food off the floor. Sometimes you have to, you know, uh, wash somebody else's bowl that's been sitting on beside the sink for a week that has some sort of egg or something in it. Sometimes you have to do these things. So I'm taking this time to not freak out about things and to be less patronizing. Yeah, to talk to people in a less patronizing way and just be patient. Be patient. Yeah. Getting another text message in at the moment. I'm going to read it out to you. Someone says, or when they wash with cold water, it's not on, just not on. Clean the sink and indeed the jacks. Now, folks, this is the jacks. By the way, is it's an Irish slang term which means the toilet. And I didn't want to bring it up today. I did not want to bring it up today, but it's true that the toilets are not getting cleaned. Of course, I'm cleaning the toilet because it has to be cleaned. But previously it was not being cleaned, and the smell was quite overpowering for sure. It was quite overpowering. But for some reason, yeah, everyone seemed completely oblivious. They just seemed completely oblivious to the smell of the jacks, as we say in Ireland, the smell of the toilet. But I have to say that it has all changed. We've since had somebody new moving into the house, and they're uber clean. They've cleaned so far. They've hoovered the stairs. They put shaken back down. There's a lovely smell off the carpet now. They've tidied the sitting room. They tidied the hall. They took away all the old posts and they polished the bookshelf in the hall so that it's spick and span. And yeah, they've been cleaning the bathrooms. They actually said when they moved in, "Do you have a mop?" And I had to reply that we did not have a mop because we had been using a tea towel, just an old rag, which we would wet and use that to wash the floor in the kitchen. But when he asked me if I had a mop, and I said no, that's when I knew. That's when I knew that we had been facing some big problems before he arrived. So I want to give a shout out to my new housemate. I'm not going to name him, but he's probably not listening to the show anyway. But just want to say, so happy that we have a new housemate who is so clean conscious, and it's inspired the whole household to be much more cleaner. And now we have this open forum where everyone's being a lot cleaner, and we're all going to be happier because of it. They will understand draining. They will learn about draining, and we will no longer be storing cups of water and bowls of water and pans and pots full of water on our draining board. So life will be good. Life will be good. Well, thank you so much to my guest for coming in today via phone, Gabby Killick. You can check out her website, gabbykillick.com. She's got an upcoming gig on December 16th in Hackney, and you'll be able to check that out on her website. Congratulations on all of her different projects that she's been doing. Check her out on Spotify. She's got a single out on Spotify called Attitude and ASSESS. I'm not going to say this word just in case. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say it or not. So check it out on Spotify. And she's got some really interesting projects in the pipeline. So make sure to check out her website. Thanks to all the text messages that we got today, mainly from friends of mine. I will say that much. But so thank you to them for texting in. If you want to text in, you can do that yourself in the future. I'm Dominic Anglim. This has been the Art and Spirituality Show. And yeah, we're going to be back again next Monday. We're going to be joined in the studio by an American comedian. He won't be joining us in the studio. He'll be joining us via phone, an American comedian by the name of Brendan Burke. So he'll be joining us on Monday. So watch this space for more art and spirituality. I'll be back again next Monday. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in today. Ciao for now.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.